Now, I want to talk about the power of DNA. Hey, everybody. Waiting for people to join up here. Malik. Yo, Malik, I have a package I'm sending you. It didn't ship out yet. Packages are going out today and tomorrow. Um, I'm doing it all in one shot because I have like a whole bunch of people I'm sending stuff out to from Patreons, and I have a couple of orders that came through in the last few days. So I'm sending you a little amulet, little Eye of Ra amulet, and maybe something a little cool. So I don't want to give out. Oh, I don't want to give out too many secrets. I want you to be surprised at least. So Sherry, who else is in there? Melinda. I don't know if you wanted me to do your, you wanted me to look a little bit deeper into some things. I don't know if you want me to do that like in person or in private. So just let me know on Facebook or whatever. I have to do a few readings for people. I've been like really tired lately too. Um, I've, it's crazy, and that's another thing I want to. Um, two things are really important afterwards. Some like fruits and nuts or something really healthy too, if you could. Or sometimes I even crave like a cheeseburger or something like that. Like I need like substance in me sometimes, depending on what I'm doing. Um, and I've done everything from just basic energy work to exorcisms. So it's it's really important that you eat afterwards and bathe that energy off. I'm over at my mom and dad's house. Well, my mom's gone now, so it's just my dad's now. But I wanted to talk about some things about DNA, and how ancient all of our DNA is, including mine. I always talk about it. Now, I don't know if you guys know, part of my line is the Colombo line. And here's a monument that my dad has back on his little man-made pond back here that he made. We used to have like an above-ground pool back here when I was a kid. But after all the kids moved out, there was no more use for it. So my dad made a little pond, and there's a big ass turtle that he jumped inside now because he saw me coming. But there's a big ass turtle in that pond. My dad takes it in the winter. My mom's owl is still there. Now this statue here. Wow, my dad has my old grave marker before my mom had a tombstone there. Okay, but I guess he kept it from the cemetery. But this is Christopher Colombo. Cristoforo Colombo. Now, Christopher Columbus was not Spanish. He was Italian. And in fact, let me see. Does this say? Yeah, it does say Columbus on there. See, it does say Columbus. And check something interesting too, is even though you see the fence my dad here is because we had German Shepherds, but behind this fence is the same rock wall that you see in the Catholic Retreat Center that's up the street where you guys see me doing videos from. I'll show you. See, look, all along here is the same rock walls. Look at this. Check this out. This goes all the way through my dad's backyard, all through the neighbor's backyard. So my dad had to put these, and there's some big ass rocks at the base of this, and even throughout it, like they're huge. This goes all the way through the neighborhood, all the way up. It goes all the way up to the Marian Shrine, into that area that I go, the Catholic Retreat Center. And we put this fence up when I was a kid because we had German Shepherds, and the German Shepherds were they were jumping over the rock wall, so we had to put something higher. But this tree is the tree when I was about 7, 8 years old. I hugged it. I came outside and saw a spirit arise out of this tree. I didn't know it was the actual, familiar of the tree, the actual spirit of the tree, the actual genetic memory of the tree, the guardian of the tree. It came out of the ground when I was playing near the tree as a kid. I saw something rise out of the ground, and this tree is monstrous. Look at this. I mean, it goes really high. I'm talking hundreds of feet. This tree goes. My dad keeps talking about that he wants to cut it and chop it. I keep trying to talk him out of it, but because it'll chop the house in half, if it falls. But look at the face on the tree. It's still there. My mom had put that face on the tree many, many years ago. But when I was yeah, and you know what? The reason why I saw it, I didn't know at the time, was because trees and us have very similar auric fields. Very, very similar auric fields. And that's something that is very important to remember. So when you interact with a tree, you drop your consciousness into your belly. And you step into the forest and you feel the auric field of the tree. And as a kid, I was just playing near the tree, dancing around it, kind of, having fun in my own world. I would make up my own games. And literally, I was making my own game up. I remember, I used to make wars with my G.I. Joes and with everything. So I was playing out here, lost in my own world. And I was running around the tree. And literally, something rose out of the ground that looked like part human, part insect, part creature, like part animal. It looked like it was part plant, part human, part insect, and part mammal. Literally, it was humanoid form, like it rose up like a person, but it had long limbs that were like viney, like a plant, like a tree, like almost like tree limbs, but really moving and fluid. And I don't remember specifically facial features. I just remember long things hanging, and it was like real stringy and real intense. And the thing is, it didn't scare me at all. Kind of felt drawn to it in a way, but at first. But then when I saw what it actually looked like, I ran to my mom horrified. Because then it became like almost like a ghost. So, what's up, Masaki? Up, everybody in the chat room. So, this tree, literally, this isn't, my dad's house here. This tree is literally hundreds of feet tall. And when I was a kid, for those just tuning in, and we were talking about this area, how the rock walls go all the way up to the Catholic Retreat Center, where I always go. You see these rock walls. These are all, my dad put the fence here because when we had German Shepherds, they were jumping over the rock wall. But for those that just tuning in, this tree, as a kid, I was playing around this tree, and I saw this creature come out, and I was hugging the tree and doing all sorts of crazy shit, running around it, playing a game with my I don't know if I was playing on my G.I. Joes at the time, but I remember hugging the tree. I would playing peekaboo around the tree, in a way. I was fighting people, but looking behind the tree, because I was hiding, ducking behind a tree in a war and doing all that stuff, holding the tree. So I was doing stuff like that, interacting with the tree and not realizing it as a kid. And literally, right from on the ground here, it rose up, and it was bigger than me, definitely bigger than me, probably around 5 feet tall at the time. A humanoid thing that looked stringy, and it looked part human, it looked part animal. It was looked part insect. And once I caught a vision of it, at first I remember I wasn't scared, but then when I saw what it actually looked like, I don't know, some fear came over me, and I ran and grabbed my mom. And I like was around her leg, and she actually like comforted me and said that the tree was like reaching out to me in a way, like talking to me, loving me. So there we go. I found another one. Collect bird feathers for my wands. So yeah, so the DNA thing I was talking about is we are all from powerful DNA. This Christopher Colombo Stein is because of my. He was actually not as great as a guy as my dad just puts it there because it's a relative, I think. But it's actually from my mom's side. My mom's side is part of the Colombos, and Colombo actually means dove, and it's a very powerful ancient Strege name. It goes back very long, and in fact, Cristoforo Colombo, even though he went from Spain, at one time there's some ancient Jewish Spanish monastery, ancient Jewish temples in Spain that are they were forced to leave, I think, in like the 13th century or something like that. But there were some huge ass temples there where the guy Moses de Leon that actually like channeled the Zohar from Rabbi Yohai. He was part of those temples. Those temples in that area in Spain are part of Christopher Colombo's story too. You know, he was in my Strege underground lore from family lines that pass down this information that most people won't talk about, is that he was actually an Italian Kabbalist, Cristoforo Colombo, an Italian Jew, basically. And he had to leave the country. Like, there was like a deadline. So when he left in 1492, whatever it was, whenever he left, there was like a deadline where he had to leave. And he knew where he was going. He was following Knights Templar routes, you know, that they took, you know, to this world. They were all over New York, you know, all over the Catskill Mountains at one time, you know, way before Christopher Columbus, you know, hundreds of years before. So, and before that, I mean, you had Vikings here, Norse, you had Native Americans, you had all sorts of things here for hundreds of thousands of years, literally in this area. And all of our DNA is parts of this. So my just from my mom's side is all sorts of Strege and Benedante names, especially last names. And you know, my great grandmother, her name was Santa Mauro, but Santa Mauro means the Moors, means dark, and her maiden name was Santa Bianco, which means Saint White. That was my great grandmother, and she married my great grandfather, who was from the Moros. And then my grandfather, his name was Vincent Mauro, which means like Vincent Dark or Vincent of the Moors. So these are all, and the Moors, every single one of the Moors had voodoo in their blood. All right, this was their religion. So I have magical lineage on all sides of my family. It's just in my blood in all ways. So we have magical powers in our DNA, and it's up to you to find what's yours. Spiral out.